The likely outcome of a general election in December will be victory for the Conservatives. They are ahead in the polls, they have the money, their campaign is in the hands of experts, and they will hammer home the clear message that they represent the people against Parliament. A Labour Party led by Jeremy Corbyn, with a confused message on Brexit and whose campaign will be led by Karie Murphy, who self-confessedly does not know much about polling, will be no match. It is unfortunate that both the SNP and the Liberal Democrats, in pushing for such an election, appear to be motivated more by party advantage than the national interest, and their actions will in all likelihood usher in 5 more years of Boris Johnson and the hardest of Brexits. R. Murray. Glasgow G41. The general election will be on one issue, Brexit, whose outcome may be another hung parliament. What happens then? We had a Fixed-Term Parliament Act, a concept worth less than nothing. It would have been better to have had a fixed-term Prime Minister, whose term finished after 5 years, or with the onset of an election, that might have concentrated the minds of Theresa May and now Boris Johnson. How will this end? I would expect the SNP to do well in Scotland, the Lib Dems well in England, though lots of votes don't always get lots of seats, Labour perhaps better than expected, though expectations must be low. The Tories start as favourites, but their vote share is harder to predict. They may double their majorities in the south but will lose seats to the SNP, Lib Dems and the Brexit Party. The Tory vote seems to depend on how Mr Johnson is perceived, buffoon/charlatan, but also where you live in the UK. One probable outcome is that the majority party in Scotland will be totally different from the majority party in England. If, under those circumstances, England's majority party insists on vetoing Scots having a direct say on their own future, then it's surely time to stop talking about a partnership of nations, and refer to internal colonies. G.R. Weir. Ochiltree. To do nothing on an early general election was not an option, as last week 19 Labour MPs supported Boris Johnson's bad Brexit deal, which puts Scottish business plus our farming and fishing industries at a disadvantage compared to Northern Ireland. As Labour has been such a useless opposition, it is thanks to Joanna Cherry and the Scottish courts that Mr Johnson was forced to bow to the rule of law and ask for the EU extension until January 31. Reports also indicate that the SNP/Lib Dem calls for an early general election was a game changer for Emmanuel Macron to agree to such an extension in order to stop a no-deal Brexit. It should be remembered that Labour enthusiastically voted to trigger Article 50 without knowing the terms on which we would leave, thus becoming the hand. For more on this story, visit the news article link.